for the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast with 40 years of playing PlayStation and 6+ years in the games media combined. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations, please check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter, all our links in the description below.
If you want to join us as the conversation happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures where you can watch us record this show live. If you want to support the show, you can. You can tell your friends, you can tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you listen to us on podcast services like Apple podcast, whatever the fuck, be sure to give it a 5-star rating and written review. Or if you listen to us on the iTunes, not the iTunes, what is it? The YouTubes, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, comment below. I do my best to respond to every comment on there. And of course, you can also always support us financially at patreon.com/thepopculturist, where big shout out to our latest Patreon supporter, Solomon Baruch, becoming a Patreon producer. So hopefully, if I am good at my job, which I'm not, he will be in the credits like everyone that is a $5 tier or higher. They get their name in the credits at the end of the show. You can also support us by buying merchandise at thepopcultures.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. How's things, Max? I see you're sitting on something new.
Yeah, my chair finally arrived after ordering it in May.
So for those that don't know, Max is currently sitting in the Secret Labs Cyberpunk 2077 seat. Now, of course, I'm on my ZQ racing chair, which I believe we're affiliates for, and I've never done anything with it. So, because once that real pandemic kicked in, I'm like, no one's got any money to buy chairs, so I kind of hasn't really pushed it. But I've not pushed it so hard that you went and bought a Secret Labs chair.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my eye on one of these for a while, and then they're like, "Hey guys, we're doing a Cyberpunk channel." I'm like, "Okay, you've got me."
Just money directly at the screen.
So I missed out the first time because they sold out within 2 hours, and I was very upset. And then they sent me an email saying, "Hey, we're doing a second round. Do you want to be on the list?" I'm like, "Yes." And then $700 dues later. And a couple of months because they were back ordered,
Because everyone's wanting them sweet Cyberpunk chair. Because everyone's getting excited for a game that's not coming out this year. So
it's coming out.
No, it's not coming out. They're busy doing 1,000 different languages that we haven't heard of yet. So they're getting ready.
I must admit, my wife is enjoying the chair. She uses it a bit more than I do at this point now that she's working from home.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like now that my arsehole doesn't hurt. Obviously, hi everyone. Like the chair's gone back to becoming comfortable again, which I really appreciate.
It's enjoyable being able to get out of the chair and your back not be completely jacked from.
Yeah, the biggest problem that I had with the old chairs, which are the one that you sit in when you've come here, is because they were like $40 chairs from Office Works. It was just wood, some poor excuse of foam material. So, I would blow out my tailbone constantly on those chairs. And thankfully, this fucking chair is comfy as balls. And I like the grey. So, you've gotten the real, vibrant, fucking, boom, in your face chair. I went with as subtle as possible.
Well, see, I must admit, their licensed chairs at the moment are off the hook. They've got a Joker chair at the moment that looks sweet. It's like that nice PopC purple. You're just like...
Yeah, I would buy it, except I wouldn't like the Joker stuff on it. I think since that movie with Joaquin Phoenix, the Joker's got a bit of a bad rap, and I agree with that. I wouldn't want to be connected to that subculture.
Fair enough.
But I did consider getting a purple. There was a purple one that I was looking at getting, and until I noticed the all grey, and I was like, that's subtle. It's nice. I'm liking it. I'm feeling it. But apart from having a comfortable tuchus, Max, how you been?
Yeah, not too bad, man. It's been a pretty chill week.
Yeah, not a whole lot's been going down.
Not much.
We're very much in the minutia, just the
I
moment.
mean, we're still in the lockdowns. I still go to work every day.
Yeah, so not a whole lot has really changed for us. There is one bit of, that we're going to kick things off with a big bit of news in shortly. Sometimes I want to talk about that because there's things to come, Max. As the title suggests, it's very clickbaity, but it's also not because we will discuss it. We've been playing this week.
What have I been playing this week? I dove into more Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah.
I'm still grinding away, pun intended, at that Tony Hawk plat.
Yeah.
I think I've got 3 or 4 trophies left to get.
Nice. Oh, and you may have seen, so PlayStation Australia have been doing this thing for a while called PS Plus Plays, I think, which is a competition based around PlayStation Plus and set challenges per month. In the past, it's been the likes of FIFA and Call of Duty. This month, it is submit your highest score in Tony Hawk's. Now, previously, the grand prize was like a all-paid trip to PAX Australia, but they can do that all they want now, but that ain't happening, so I don't know what their plans are, but this is yours to win, Max. You're going for the plat, you're kicking Cass's asshole in the Tony Hawk's. He's your step one onto bigger things, and that bigger things is winning this contest. Well,
earlier this week, I did pull off the 10 million point combo, got that trophy. That was good fun.
How did you even do that? What level was that?
So I actually created a custom skate park.
Oh, you dirty bastard.
So, just reverts for days. I think I had like 300 and something tricks by the end of the combo.
Holy poo. Crazy. Anything else?
Yeah. I played some Vader Immortal.
Yeah.
So episodes. I've played through episode 1 and 2 now.
Yeah. So
episode 1 last night and did episode 2 this morning.
So last week we jumped on Vader Immortal. That code was kindly provided to us by PlayStation Australia. So what we decided is that we would do 1 episode a week. It's a 3-episode game. Just sort of split it up so that we're not stuck in VR for like 9 hours. Both being fathers and families, we couldn't really dedicate a whole day to playing VR. So we thought for the next 3 weeks, we would bit by bit the episode. So, Max, before we jump into episode 2 discussions, what did you think of episode 1? Because you weren't able to play it last week.
So, my thoughts are pretty similar to yours. You know, all the close-up visuals are absolutely fantastic, and you do get that blurred vision on the far-out landscapes. They've definitely put all their pull all the detail forward, so the closer you are to it, the better it's going to look. Mm-hmm. I agree with the hand choice was weird that they put gauntlet cuffs on you because the hands were a bit
if it was just like wrist up, there wouldn't be any hiccups at all with the way controls at all.
Surprisingly, the move controllers worked fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't have too many issues. There were some issues with the lightsaber duels of those robot lads that I feel that I blocked it and it would just hit me. I'm like, okay. So I did some PSVR camera fiddling and worked out some kinks. Other than that, I thought episode 1 was great opening. It wasn't too long. It fell into that. I think it took me about an hour, just over an hour to finish it. So it's that really nice. It's a really nice time frame for a VR experience. It's not too long that your eyes get strained or anything like that. I'm super not a fan of teleport movement, and I think I need to play with the control schemes. I don't know if there's a way to change that
I don't think there's a different. I did dick about it in the settings, and I dicked about it in episode 2 as well. And I don't think that there is a way to change it because like fluid movement, it's weird. Like I get pretty gnarly motion sickness, right? I get it at the best of times, but in VR. When they're like, oh, we make it the stutter to alleviate sickness. I'm like, no, that makes my sickness worse. Like, I need that fluid motion.
Coming to a stop as you pivot is quite frustrating. I really like the climbing mechanics where you physically climb up the ladders and climb down the ladders. That's really cool.
It has its moments. Like, it's cool, but then when you've got to, like, push yourself onto the ledge, the amount of times that even especially in episode 2 that wouldn't register and then I just fall.
So I didn't have any troubles with that. The only time that I fell was when when you're climbing up the outside of Vader's castle on Mustafar and your droid helper puts her hand out and said, grab onto my hand. Her hand didn't spawn in time, so I didn't have anything to grab, so I fell to my death. That was lame. But it worked fine the second time. The only real hiccups I had were in episode 2, and it was with the teleport movement. I found myself like clipped inside ledges if I teleported to a raised platform from a lower section of the game.
Well, let's get into episode 2 now. So episode 2 is a straight continuation of episode 1. You are now in essentially these catacombs, these tombs of Mustafar. You're underground, exploring all these cool things, trying to find this life stone. What is it called? The
You put me on the spot here.
It's a stone that Vader's hunting for. It's like the white light or the.
It's the key to the machine that
Lady Korvax is. It'll come to me. I completely brain fart on it so hard. But yeah, so you're going through these catacombs trying to find these tombs to try to find this thing. In here, you have seemingly lost the lightsaber you obtained at the start in episode 1. So there is a heavier focus on force abilities here, specifically grab and throw and like push. So that was interesting. So stepping away from the lightsaber combat of the first one to going into sort of like, the push pull sort of force stuff. It's a bit fun, especially in the opening when you're standing with Vader and he's like, you're force sensitive or whatever. Check out what I can do, and then he proceeds to just spin rocks around you. It's very cool. Like some of their use of 3D space is really, really solid in this game, especially when you get into sort of those well lit areas. Big fan.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So, like you said, it kicks off directly following, and yeah, the big gimmick for this episode is your force push pull grab. I had a great fun just flinging those droids around. And then, Darth Vader plays catch with you for a bit. He throws some stuff at you. You got to catch it and throw it back. And there's like an escape sequence where this gigantic monster.
There's a big rancor and it like fucks with you. And I don't know you, but my heart was racing during that rancor fight.
It was so good. So there's some more climbing mechanics during the Rancor fight, which kind of glitched out a bit because you're supposed to be like swinging on monkey bars and throwing bombs at it at the same time to clear its arms out of the way. So I had a bit of issues with that, but I think that was because my PlayStation Move controllers weren't registering on the camera properly. I think I was a bit too low. They were disappearing under my desk. But yeah, that whole sequence was so cool. And you're like throwing rocks at it and catching things that are falling down. And then, it's such a cool story that it's telling. Like I'm not a huge Star Wars guy. This is an intriguing story to me.
Yeah, like I'm really interested.
When you're talking to the priestess and they do those cutaway. Those like papercraft visuals, they are absolutely stunning.
Yeah, man.
That papercraft vision of Darth Vader growing towards you is
uncomfortable in like the best way.
Yeah. No, it's really good.
Yeah, so like I'm not. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Yeah, because like I'm in the same boat. I really enjoyed the story. I'm not quite sure where it's going. I'm not sure what the end point of it is yet, but I like the trajectory that it's taking. It's we're building up, trying to find this life essence because Vader's trying to destroy the unit, like galaxies, and also obtain forever life, gaining immortality. Is sort of the crux of what he's trying to get with this life essence. But yeah, so like in terms of issues yourself, I had, and those monkey bars I had a bit concern with. So when I went across them, I went to grab onto the ledge, and the game wigged out and threw me back to the start. But I was floating, and I could tell. It's almost like I landed where it wanted to, but then it kicked me back about a meter.
Yeah.
So I was playing here in the studio, and this is where I play all my VR games. It's never really a problem. Excuse me. The only problem I've ever had in here is arm height. Like, too high or too low. That's because I can't go back as far as it probably needs. And additionally, when you're in this tomb section where, you need to go up to the second level, I didn't go up the stairs. I just went boop, and it just pushed me straight forward, and I'm like waist deep. So there's quite a number of times.
I did the exact same thing.
Yeah, quite a number of times where the height is messed up. Like once I thought I was like way taller, then once I thought it was way shorter than like all the characters, and it was a real bit weird. Like some minor technical hiccups, like you just go into the menus and recenter and it fixed it. So I'm not quite sure whether it's a camera issue or a game issue, but it's one of these problems you have in VR.
I found that once I teleported up to there and it got me stuck in the floor, if I re-teleported just a fraction, it would realize that I'm supposed to be on the upper level now.
Oh, okay.
It's called the Bright Star.
The Bright Star. That's
the Bright Star. I really liked the light sword. The light sword was cool, but it was permanently stuck in my hand. So in the first episode, you could put the lightsaber on your thing.
Yeah.
I found I couldn't get rid of the light sword. If I was using it, it was out. I couldn't drop it. I couldn't throw it. I couldn't get rid of it.
I have one of the things they've done in this game is so you can pull the lightsaber, like especially in the first episode, you can pull the lightsaber out whenever you want it. So you could just be like, ha, yeah. Or you could, but whenever you got into a battle encounter, and I guess the majority of this 40-minute episode 2 is predominantly fight encounters. So when you're in the fight encounter, they don't allow it to leave your hand. Because previously, if you're not in a battle encounter, you have to hold the trigger to hold it. If you let go, it just goes back to your belt.
Yeah.
So they've set up in the battle encounters for it to not fall out of your hand, so that way you are never fighting and just disappears. But yeah, you just go to your belt and just press the trigger and it goes back on your belt.
Well, I must admit, I'm a bit of a... Going back to episode 1, at the start, you get given one of those spanners. And after I used it to help the prisoners escape, I pegged it. I threw it across the room. And, well, I didn't know that it came back. So I'm standing at the elevator and the guy's like, yeah, just pull that wrench out, man. And I'm like, I threw it away. Can I go back to that room? It's like, nah. And then after 5 minutes of going, well, what am I supposed to do? My droid's like, it's attached to your belt. And I look down and it's just sitting there.
The game told you off, Max.
That's what I get for throwing shit away, I guess.
It's true.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think, yeah, like I said earlier, the time frame that these run for is absolutely perfect for VR experience, and I can't wait to play episode 3. Yeah,
so I want to see what the big crescendo is. I want to see what the big ending is. I'm hoping that's like an hour and a half, sort of like episode 1.
That elevator ride through those crystal caverns was absolutely awesome.
It was awesome.
And then you get to the top and there's just an army of droids. I'm just like, oh no.
I literally was like, I literally said, oh fuck.
I
wasn't streaming. I was by myself, and I just had that moment of, oh fuck, I have to.
Well, I was thinking, I'm like, all right, I got force things. I'm just gonna like force rip the roof onto them and just kill them all at once.
I just because I was thinking, all right, how am I gonna take this whole army on? Because I'm like, well, yeah, I can grab 2 at best. You know, it's like that thing. It's like that.
And then you like bashing them into each other.
Yeah, best case scenario, I'm wishing them, I'm throwing them at each other. That's the best case scenario, and then I'll be dead in about a minute and a half. But you know, I could at least put up a minor fight before it kicks in.
It's an easy recommend for anyone who's even slightly a Star Wars fan and has a VR system.
Well, it's one of those things. It's just like Star Wars, because of its wide popularity. It's an easy sell because, like, hey, everyone knows what lightsabers are. Everyone knows who Darth Vader is. So, like, the sell here is you get to hang out with Darth Vader. You get to fight have lightsaber battle alongside Vader. It's like, yeah.
I mean, Vader's super intimidating. Like,
he's huge. He's like a fucking unit.
Every scene in this game that has people talking to you, they're like right up in your face every time.
Yeah, VR tends to do that. They tend to just be like,
none of them have none of them have that idea of personal space. They're just like breathing their social distancing skills are terrible.
Oh yeah, there's so much like scariness going on. But like, yeah, and then Vader at the opening where it's like pitch black and he fucking ignites that lightsaber and it's like it's red and he's intense and he moves realistically and it's like, oh, so good, so damn good. And like it's the best selling point because you know it's best used for VR. It's fighting with swords, floaty hand powers. It's built for VR in the same way that Squadrons, when it comes out, is perfect for VR because it's literally space fighters. You know what I mean? Like Star Wars is the best property for VR. I still argue for pod racing. Give me goddamn pod racing, you bastards. I know it's not going to happen, but anything else to play this week?
I tried out World War Z.
Oh yeah.
That it's not Left 4 Dead, but it is Left 4 Dead. It's alright. Nothing too fancy. Other than that, not too much. I drove back into PGA Tour for a little bit. Played a little bit more Project Cars 3.
Yep.
Still terrible. The main portion of this week has definitely been Avengers and Tony Hawk.
Well, we're in that quiet time right now. We're not quite to that next bump. We're a little bit of dull down, but that's all right. What about
yourself?
So the Immortal, Avengers, a bit of Tony Hawk. I played a little bit of my House Flipper as well. I'm just sort of chipping my way through that because that's still fun. But last night I played some Sea of Thieves. So we brought up Sea of Thieves. I know it's not a PlayStation game, and I'm sorry, but I was playing it at work with some clients, and I was having an absolute blast. So last night I'm like, I don't know what I feel like doing. I've got some Wild Turkey 101, no sugar cans. You know what? I'm gonna have some brews. I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna put on some early 2000s fucking new metal, like all the music of my youth, and I'm gonna get fucking hammered, and I'm gonna play Sea of Thieves. And I did pretty much exactly that. So here I am, just like rocking out hard, singing. My wife and son are in bed. I'm having a blast, sipping whiskey, playing Sea of Thieves. Really great idea until I started to get like progressively a little bit more intoxicated, and I was on the boat, and there was a whole lot of sky ground. That was a bad decision. Then I also got lost on an island trying to find a buried treasure because I just was having a mess of a time. But no, Sea of Thieves is goddamn brilliant. I love that game a lot. It's so simple and it's awesome. And like you can play it by yourself, which is a big fan. I'm a one-man ship having a good old time, selling all my wares. You know, there has been a substantial amount of upgrades since I played it last. Like I can open chests now, and rather than just selling someone the chest, I can sell what's inside it. You know, there's this whole like ghost fleets that you can find. There's like these challenges and stuff. It's not just like when I played it bare bones. I played it at launch.
Did you get attacked by the Megalodon or the Kraken?
Man, I have seen the Megalodon before. Like, he's fucked me right up in the past. The Krakens I've seen before because I did play originally at launch, and then I played a little bit later, and by then the Megalodon was in it and the Kraken were in it, and then there's been a new set since. So apparently you can get dogs now. I'm totally getting a dog in the game. Like it's been an incredible improvement since I first played it, which is gnarly because like I played it at PAX 3 years ago, 3 years ago, on Polly Woodside, inside a pirate ship. That was one of the best experiences I've had at a PAX, actually. Going over there to Xbox to play some Sea of Thieves in a pirate ship. It was awesome. Good times. Sad that won't happen this year because goddamn pandemic and no PAX Australia.
I mean, there is. It's just online.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of, I'll be joining Dash for the Dash Gamers podcast. We'll be doing a live recording of that show for Generozity, raising some money for, I think it's for cancer research or cancer something. Not for cancer, because we're not raising money for cancer. That's a bit fucked. But yeah, so that's next Sunday. Totally doing that. I forgot about it till right now, even though I agreed to it like yesterday. Anyway, let's get in the section we call Inform the Players, where we tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation. Now, Max, let's kick this fucking thing right off, right? Listen, there's the name of the episode. This is what we're discussing. Whoa. Hold your horses there, past Ryan and Max. Here's future Ryan and Max. Here was some information. Now, Max, that we're about to dive into this big discussion about what is PlayStation gonna do next? Why aren't they announcing shit? Shortly after we finish recording, well, not shortly, like 6 hours later, PlayStation come out and they announced that this Thursday, the 16th?
Yep.
Of September.
It'll be 17th for us.
17th for us, my apologies. Yeah, Thursday, 17th, 6 a.m. They are holding a presentation, which, actually, Max, get you to read the blog post down. They'll tell us exactly what's going down.
So, I'm super skeptical. So, coming from the PlayStation blog post, before PlayStation 5 launches this holiday, we wanted to give you one more look at some of the great games coming to PS5 at launch and beyond. Our next digital showcase will weigh in at around 40 minutes and feature updates on the latest titles from worldwide studios and our world-class development partners. Tune in live on Twitch and YouTube on the dates mentioned before. So I'm super skeptical because they specifically say we are showing you games.
However,
at launch.
Normally when they do something like this, they're like, look, there is no talk of hardware, there is no talk of dates, there is no talk of price. They normally bookend the post with that. They've not done that here. Now,
that
granted,
doesn't make me any less skeptical.
It does. Like, granted, I will wait till the press release comes through probably Monday from PlayStation Australia, and if that's bookended with no talk on tech, then I'll be on the same boat. But right now, we're recording this on the Sunday. It's 11. It's almost midday. Yeah, it's almost midday. So like that gives you an idea of where we're at in terms of time and news. But we thought we'd come back and we'd add a little bit to this. We'd speculate, Max. So you're speculating that no price? Or are you just uncertain?
I'm uncertain. The cynic in me, because of the way this blog post is worded, it sounds like we're just going to see more of the same. Because it does say we're going to give you one more look at some of the games coming to PS5 at launch. So that means we're probably going to see some more Spoods, Miles Morales. We're going to see some more Ratchet and Clank. Personally, I'd love to see some Demon Souls. I don't think we've seen anything apart from what Bluepoint have been showing themselves. You know, I want to believe that they're going to give us what we want, especially now that their hand has kind of been forced. But who knows? Sony, kind of like Nintendo, Sony kind of run by their own rules these days.
Well, they're in that luxury spot where they can. Yeah. So like right now is like, you know, Xbox had their hand forced, leaving PlayStation do whatever they want, and they're choosing to be like, hey, in a couple of days we're going to do something. Now I'm gonna go ballsy as hell with my speculations here, Max. I'm gonna go hard. This is it. I reckon they're gonna back end it with price and date. Now, going from something that you mentioned earlier, that Amazon Japan essentially dropped the date of November 20.
Yes.
Now, ideally, I want it on the 6th because I want that to be my birthday present. Just saying, PlayStation, if you care even remotely about moving. But 20 makes sense. It's interesting because it's after, after Xbox. But sure. Price, I still think it'll come about the same $4.99 for one of them. One of them will be $4.99, and the other will either be 50 higher or 50 lower. I'll commit by the end of this little recording. I'll commit, but right now, I think it's either going to go like one of them will be $4.99.
So well, if we'll speculate price if that's where you're going with this. Yeah. My thought is the all digital version will be $6.99
Australian
for Australian, and we'll get $7.99 for the disc.
$100 for just a disc drive.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they're going to want to incentivize people to buy a digital version purely because they'll get that extra 30% cut on every piece of software sold.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's probably a good idea.
Like that's a big chunk of money to not laugh at. Like, you know, you look at Apple and they're the third biggest. They have the third biggest revenue in games, and they don't even make games. That's just from their 30% cut.
Well, that's because we did like past Ryan and Max. We did speculate about prices, so that's a little. We'll cover that a little bit in the future. Well, past but future. It's back to the whatever. Then previous recording.
Classic time travel conundrums.
Yeah, I know, but we created our own paradox. It's painful. But yeah, so there's that. I think we will get confirmation on release titles on day one, and it will be Demon Souls.
Mm-hmm.
It will be Spoods.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would like to think that this is pie in the sky shit, right? This is Ratchet date, Horizon date. That's it.
They told us Horizon wasn't launched though.
No, but I'm just saying there's a date. I'm just saying they're going to say March or February.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't think Insomniac are going to double drop launch titles?
I don't think so. I think Ratchet will be Q1 next year, and maybe it'll be like Ratchet, and then a little bit later it'll be Horizon, because it's two big exclusives. Try not to muddy the water. If they've got Demon Souls coming out at launch, they're not going to drop Ratchet there as well. But they 100% could, seeing as Xbox have almost no first party exclusives on launch.
Yeah.
And they mentioned this blog post as well that it is, they're going to showcase more first party stuff. So that's how I'm seeing it. And then they said now and future. So maybe if they want to be super nasty and they want to be like, here's a little hint at God of War, here's a little hint of this, that like they're going to start dropping just some future, like future PS5 stuff. But I personally don't think I think that would be a bad idea, especially on the back of a pandemic causing delays anyway. And, if they're looking at games that are years away, that might be a concern. However, I'm pretty confident previous console launches, they've not been afraid to say like, this is down the line. Because we think of like a Deep Down and stuff like that, which never came out anyway.
You know what I would like to see? I would like to see them come out and be like, we're launching on the 13th of November, and they go full on head to head with the Microsoft box.
That would be gnarly. And that'd be insane.
Because this is like purely selfish. I don't want to have to wait an extra week to get next gen. Because I am not getting an Xbox.
Which is why I wanted to wait before, because I want double selfish. I don't want to wait. But man, no. And I don't want to wait like Dawson's Creek. And I want it on my birthday. That's my two big selfish things. And I agree with you there. Like that. The
main thing is I kind of just want to know when it is so I can book some leave for work.
Oh yeah, same. Oh my god, totally same. Yeah, and then pre-orders will be probably the same window. Like we know that pre-orders are coming at the end of this month anyway, so I imagine there'll be the same window of time for pre-orders. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to speculate on. All right, I'll let you go with it. I'll see if there's anything more.
Well, so they're speculating. Well, they're saying that it's going to wane at around 40 minutes. So I'm going to assume that's
that's gameplay.
30 minutes worth of gameplay, and then we've got 10 minutes of hopefully price, date, pre-order options. They're going to show us the box again, probably most likely. They'll let us know what it's going to come with. I think you're right on the money. I think we'll see more spoods, and I think that'll get a proper launch date title.
Yeah, right now it's still holiday.
Yeah, personally, I'm hoping for a Demon Souls. Like if that comes out on launch, that's all I'm going to be playing. Sorry to every other game that comes out at launch.
Well, as we said, so like both you and I are planning on getting a day one, if possible, when possible. So, we'll be in a situation where we will attempt to get as much as we can in terms of release games, and we'll go deep and hard. So probably like for the first 1 to 2 episodes post-launch, you will see us just smashing out release titles. Is the plan.
So it's interesting because, like we mentioned later in the episode, all those third-party titles like your Call of Duties, your Assassin's Creeds, like obviously Assassin's Creed has moved date to coincide with the Xbox. But Assassin's Creed's launching 17th of November or whatever it is, 13th of November, whatever it is. Now. Yeah, it's 10th. And then you've got Cyberpunk 2077 coming out and in that window as well. So you're not going to have a lack of software to play.
Which is another reason why I think Ratchet's not going to be in that window.
Yeah, it makes sense to not for a studio to not release 2 games at once in the launch window because they don't want to, cut their own grass. Yeah, because
like one of them will have to although the difficulty right now is that it is pandemic. It is people don't have a lot of spare dollaritos, so it's going to be tough for them just to buy the console alone. And then if you start throwing titles on that, people will have to compromise and buy ones and not the other. And I think for that reason, they might be a bit sparing on launch.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like if you're forking out $800 Australian for a console, and then you're looking at another $80 for a game, you're not buying 2 of them. That's a very expensive trip.
Well, once again with the presumption that the prices are increasing. Now the RRP for games here in Australia is $100, so we're expecting $110, $120 RRP. Now, granted, in store will conflict with that. Even on the PSN hasn't charged $100 in a very long time. At best, a brand new title on launch day is $89. So that's full price on the PSN. So we're probably looking and like you can get 69 is probably the standard for a physical. I probably see 79 is more common. I think now, as you said, $80.
On the odd occasion, you'll get 63, which is a bizarre price. 60
because 63 is cost price.
Yeah.
So that means they're pushing like 69. They still make a little bit of money, but 63 is cost. Like they're making nothing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you get because what are your specifics? Like I put some balls to the walls out there. I said this and that. What do you got?
Yeah, so we'll definitely see. So the things that are probably the easy grabs, the easiest to guess. So we'll see Ratchet definitely. We'll see Spider-Man. We'll see hopefully Demon's Souls. We'll see more of Horizon. I like your idea of God of War, but I think it might be too early. I'd really like to see what Kojima is working on. I would like to see more Resi Evil, but I don't know if that's going to happen. They do say that they've got dev partners, but I don't think they're technically developer partners with Sony.
Yeah, I think it's more of like if you're. I think this might be more. I'm reading this as more an exclusive sort of presentation.
I'd like
and
to
with
see
Tokyo Game Show coming up, maybe Resi's going to hang out over there instead.
True. I'd like to see what Blue Point are going to work on next, because I'm assuming Demon's Souls is basically wrapped.
Oh, if they just like, oh my god, if they just then pull out fucking Metal Gear as well, because that was the two, like, because Demon's Souls has been long rumored and then pretty much confirmed, and then it got announced. The other one they were talking about was Metal Gear. If they're like, hey, well, that's done, we're going to work on Metal Gear now, I may just die.
We'll see more Crash, I think. Apart from that, I can't really think of anything that's yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's too early. I think it's too early for a sequel for what was that game that came out last year that was the Sony exclusive where you were riding around on a motorbike constantly?
Days Gone.
I think it's too early for something from them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I'm not I think there will be like a teasery sort of little sizzle reel at the back end, but like here are some things to come. Here's the reasons why you should buy a PS5 in the future. The difficulty is, I think we're so far away from those titles, it'd be teasers at best. But yeah, in terms, like, even then, because that won't be like 2 years away. The only downside is if they do that, they may be in the same position as Bethesda with Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield. Like, they are, like, every conversation they've had, Bethesda, anyone like Pete Hines or anyone at Bethesda, regardless to anything, is what's happening with this, what's happening with that. And they're like, oh, we have no plans. They're like, well, why did you announce it 2 years ago?
Yeah, that is the trouble with announcing things so far in advance, especially if they're not... I mean, take a look at Square, for example, with Final Fantasy Versus 13, which then became Final Fantasy 15. Like, that was in development for like 8 years. It got cancelled multiple times. So there's that stress. And then you've got, you mentioned Bethesda with Elder Scrolls. You've got the guys working on Dragon Age. They've canned that and remade it so many times that, we've been hearing about that for years. I remember you and former host Josh speculating that Death Stranding wasn't going to come out for years, and then all of a sudden he just dropped it.
Yeah, we did argue that point pretty hard, and we thought the game was going to be poo. But who the fuck were we? No one.
It's they want to get fans excited by showing them what they're working on, but sometimes it is too early, and once that hype train starts, that's all the fans want, and that's all they will ever ask for. And if you don't have anything new to show after X months, then they're just going to poo-poo all over it because... Yeah.
Or unless they preface it with saying, these are years away.
I mean, to be fair, they also did that with Elder Scrolls. They're like, this is way out. This is very early. We're only just starting it, and everyone's like, "So, Elder Scrolls, Elder Scrolls."
Very true. But I guess the difference is Bethesda aren't releasing enough shit in between. Where if PlayStation are like, or even if they start announcing stuff that's coming in 2021. So granted, like God of War was 2018. See, Days Gone was 2018 as well, right? Yeah, it was last year. So then again, it's like 3 years.
Last year was 2019, right? We're almost end of 2020.
Fuck. You know what I mean? Like, so we might get like, if they say, look, this is something that might happen in 2021, right? That's 3 years. 3 years is relative, you know, relatively okay, especially, you know, obviously the likes of Days Gone, Sony Bend, I completely brain farted there. Sony Bend spent the biggest hunk of that time trying to adapt to a new generation that they didn't know how to build for, because they're building this game from scratch. God of War is a similar boat. They have a lot of that base stuff that they can build towards, or even if, you know, like with Spider-Man, right? They're like, hey, here's, you know, Miles Morales now has a date. Guess what? Here's a teaser for 2, and it's coming out in a year from now, or in 2021.
I am.
Like maybe like that. Like, you know, there are. I personally don't see like another God of War to like 2022, something like that. So I don't think they'll announce anything potentially a year and a half, 2 years out. Like, so even though it's almost 2021 now, but if we look at it from a pure numbers perspective, 2020 to 2022 seems reasonable.
I mean, we may see some more Call of Duty stuff since they have that. They're working with, they have that deal with Sony at the moment.
Yeah, they might announce that date's moving up or backwards.
And especially because especially with that date being so close to console releases.
I know it's a lot to happen, but for those that are interested, both Max and I will be presumably live reacting to it. Max will be at work, but we're gonna Discord call him in. I'm gonna share my screen so he can see the trailer as we Discord. And you'll hear his and my live reactions this Thursday morning. Don't tell his boss anyone. He may get in trouble. If anyone asks, he's listening to a podcast and talking to himself. All right? But no, like to me, this is a massive moment, presumably in PlayStation. Now we running our own PlayStation show. This is our time to go hard and to do our best, and there's no one else I'd rather do it alongside than my co-host Max. You know, he's almost at a year of working with us on the show, and it's important for he and I to do this, I think. So I'm looking forward to that. I get excited, because then we'll be recording on the Saturday after, breaking down everything that took place. So it's a good week, man. I'm are you feeling it? Like, I'm feeling the hype.
See, like I said at the start, I am super skeptical about this, and I don't want to hype myself up too much, just in case.
Yeah, that's a good
call.
Like,
I completely agree with you. They normally end it with the caveat of we're not talking hardware, we're not talking prices, and they don't do it here. But they also say we're just talking about games.
Yeah, but imagine the PR nightmare.
Oh, they have to. I don't think they have a choice.
Yeah,
I think they have to tell.
Like originally, the argument was they must do it by the end of August, and everyone's like, "Oh fuck, you kidding me?" Well, you have to by the end of September. Like, it's 2 months out. They have to.
Yeah, because I was looking back at and over the past generations, you've had a good 4 to 6 months notice of when it was coming out with pre-orders. This is 2 months is.
There's a lot of unforeseen circumstances here, of course. Big ass worldwide pandemic being a big one of them. But yeah, it's
the main thing is, especially for I mean, not so much for us, but for people in Australia, especially those in Victoria. Hopefully, by the 13th of November, our super strict lockdown will be over, and you'll actually be able to go and pick up your consoles.
Depending on where, like, we can obviously in regional Victoria, we're lucky. We're at a place we can go do that. Once you get Metro, though, that's the problem. That's where it's going to get hard. All right, let's throw it back to past Ryan and Max. Thank you all for this, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Good luck, future us.
Yeah,
past us.
Like, don't make yourselves look incredibly stupid by going against everything we just said in the future. All right.
I'm pretty sure I did.
I'm pretty sure we did. It's going to be an interesting experience for those playing at home. The Xbox has come out. They've announced the Xbox Series S, which is their what was originally the rumored Lockhart edition. They've given a price that's $299. They've announced the price for the Xbox Series X of $499. These are US prices, of course, and the release dates of November 10.
So for Aussie prices, that's $499 and $749.
Yep. So big $750 for the Series X. Max, what before we compare this to PlayStation, what do you think of this news?
That the Xbox Series S is a steal at that price. It's an absolute steal at that price. Especially when you look at the other news. I'm just going to throw some Microsoft news in here. Now that EA Play is coming to Games Pass at no additional cost, picking up, especially for Americans, picking up a console for $299 with Games Pass for $15 a month, there is 100 plus games per month plus all of EA Access's titles. That is a steal.
Yeah, it's
such good value. It is so hard to say that's not good value.
It is gnarly. It is so good.
It has the issue of a 500 gig hard drive, and when you look at the likes of Destiny 2, which is coming to Games Pass, that's currently sitting at 150 gig install. Call of Duty's over 200. You can have 3 games on this thing.
Yeah, that's my only hiccup with it. Like, as you said, it is a straight up deal. Like, it is like it's actually cheaper than a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Here in Australia, which is baffling. Like, so it's now granted, comparatively to the Xbox Series X, it is underpowered. It isn't as powerful, hence the cheaper cost. It's in a staggeringly smaller box. It's like half of a PS4 fat, like an OG. It's like, whoa, gnarly. It looks like a speaker. It looks like a drive-through speaker box, but I still kind of like it. It's kind of wearing on me a little bit, and I'm feeling it. It's impressive. It's a great sale, but it is one of those things. It's I'm trying to articulate. So Games Pass is mint, especially with EA Plus, and I think EA Play. I think that's their selling point here. They're trying to hit another market here. They're trying to hit a market that they understand that right now people can't go and spend $499 or $750 Australian to go and get the Series X. So they kind of want next gen gaming, but also not really. That's what they can get here. Now the difficulty with this, of course, is that with Xbox's whole marketing around there is no such things as generations anymore. You could still play all that shit on your current Xbox, but if you still feel the need to want to buy something but like not spend a ton of coin, this is a good place to go. November 10, brilliant, perfect time, very happy with that. It's that time of the year is awesome. Pre-orders go up on September 22, so it has been announced. I'm trying to clear my throat. It has been announced that both EB Games and JB Hi-Fi will be accepting pre-orders for both consoles as of around that time. Although it's not been officially announced the release date for the PS5, you can pre-order both. Now, last I heard that EB Games were requiring a $200 deposit, where JB Hi-Fi are sticking to a $50 deposit.
Is that because EB might not last out the year? And
that is certainly a concern, but I think they want to sort of prevent people scalpers. Now, if anything, it actually incentivized me more to go to EB Games because less people are going to be willing to fork over $200 straight up. I'm happy to, so therefore my pre-order in theory is a bit more guaranteed.
That was my theory too.
Yeah. So, Max, that's all the background info. What do you think this means for Sony and for the PS5?
I think it puts a clock on Sony to at least announce something by the 22nd of September when the Xbox pre-orders go live. Mm-hmm. I think now that we know what we're in for, it gives us a general, we can make an educated guess of the price tag of what this is going to be. My guess is either $50 either side or at parity at $749. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling they're going to match it. I don't think they're going to try and beat it. I think it's probably cheap as it is, from a manufacturing standpoint on what's in it. I saw a couple of news articles that that rumored that the PlayStation All Digital was actually originally priced at $599, and now they're concerned that that's too much. Oh, yeah, after the Xbox S release of $499. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, there's no difference between the All Digital and the PS5. Apart from not having a disc drive, everything else in it is the same.
Down to the SSD.
Whereas obviously, obviously the Xbox Series S is far less than what the Series X is going to be, so they can justify a bigger price gap between their two SKUs. I think Sony's are going to have a lot less of a price gap in between their SKUs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the big thing is that they've now got a timer on themselves. Now that Xbox has released, they kind of need to do something. Because now we're all asking, now what's the hold up? If the initial hold up was, we want to see what Microsoft are doing first, you now know what they're doing, what's the hold up? Yeah. Now, I get that they've got to talk in the back end and they might need to adjust some numbers and whatever, but now everyone's going to be wanting that information sooner rather than later. Now, especially now that it's out on the competitors' side.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So I'm in the same boat as you. I do think this is a Sony's moment. The difference here is Xbox's hand was pushed. It looks as if the Series S was leaked without them, so they had no choice but to announce it and kind of run with it.
I mean, it got leaked, and then later that day, Xbox tweeted that yes, this is it. The Xbox Series S, you'll get more details soon. And then I think within 12 hours, they went, you know what? And they tweeted out, this is the price of the S, this is the price of the X. Let's just get this done.
Yeah, so like I still think it would have been a little bit longer before we heard anything from either of them. And I think it's only because their hands have been pushed. And like Sony are at a place right now where they don't need to feel that pressure. They can almost do whatever they want here. I'm in the same boat as you. I don't see them undercutting. If anything, I see them matching. I think it'll either go two ways. Either we'll see the disc PS5 at $750 Australian and the discless at $700, so $50 difference, or $750 and $800 Australian.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the consoles will match up with the Series X. I think reasonably it should be the disc version and then the discless being that cheaper model. But whether they do that, that's a little bit different. Because as you said, the internals are all identical aside from the inclusion of that disc drive. And from previous calculations from the likes of much smarter people like Digital Foundry, is $50 is the difference we will see. Unless they want to sort of reduce the price a little bit more to try and incentivize digital sales, because obviously they get a higher cut on digital sales. So if they want to, take a cull on the digital on the profit margin on the digital version, knowing that the money will come later, then that's probably the best call for them. But I kind of don't think they'll do that. There is no way, absolutely no way, it's getting anywhere close to the price of the Series S.
No.
Not even like $100. Like it's two. They're two different. But in terms of date, selfishly, I want them to go the 6th, which is the Friday before.
I don't think they're coming out before the Xbox. Yeah,
so selfishly, the 6th is my birthday, and that's why I want it. But they could go the week after. They could go a couple of days after. They could go. My original date I predicted was the 16th.
Because I think the Xboxes are releasing on a Tuesday.
It is releasing on a Tuesday. Oh, no, sorry, 13th was my original date, because my original prediction was the second Friday of November, which is the 13th. But...
Well, I mean, they can't release something on Friday the 13th. That's just bad luck.
That's a good point. But also... the only issue would be... It's going to go two ways. Either they're confident enough to thinking that people will hold on for a week and not spend the money that's burning in their pocket, or they go first, forcing people to be like, I'll go buy it now. You know what I mean? Like, I want the Xbox. You have to wait a week, and you buy this now. Like people,
yeah, but that's a hard sell when it's I want the Xbox, but it comes out in a week. But it's also $300 cheaper.
Yes, but these people that are on the fence, you know what I mean? These people that are like, they're going to get a Series X or they were going to get a PS5. They weren't sure. They're going to pick up one or the other. And like, there's people like you, like yourself and me, and like like some of our friends in the biz. Like either they're gonna they know what they're gonna get, or they're gonna get both. Like for us, we run PlayStation show. We run PlayStation related content. There is no way that I'm gonna be like, oh, the Xbox is coming out first. Let's fucking wait a week.
So we got someone in the chat asking if it's only 50 difference, would you bother going digital? Especially if we can use PS4 discs, it's a no-brainer, surely.
Oh, I'm not. My chat's not coming through. Thank you for pointing that out.
For me, I think I've tossed around the idea of going all digital, but I also know that I can sometimes be fickle, and if I buy a game, I do like the option of returning it or reselling it once I'm done with it. So for that reason alone, I would probably prefer a console with a disc. I know you, Ryan, you want a disc because you want that sweet Blu-ray player.
Well, yeah, because that's the one thing that I've been sort of missing, and one of the big reasons that I bought an Xbox, even though I have not used it. It's just like the original idea was because my wife and I like watching our films, and some of the best way to watch that is in the 4K. Like we've got a little bit of a collection going on. Sorry, shout out who asked that question in the chat. It's not coming through.
So Smiley, if I can read that correctly.
Oh, beautiful. And is there any other comments we missed? Because for some reason my chat window wasn't working.
No, just Puck from the start. Mentioning in our pre-show, mentioning that you can pre-order the golden PS5 for $8,000.
Jesus Christ! Man, when we talking about that a little while ago, so glad that's come through. But so $50 isn't it's not a big difference for me. So for me it's disc. Like I've committed to buying this console regardless of the price.
Well, I mean, like they've put in the chat, if you can use PS4 discs in it, it kind of seems like a no-brainer to buy a disced console because you're going to use those discs.
Exactly, that's my point as well. Like, granted, we are in a very very luxurious and privileged position where both Max and I, we kindly receive a lot of review codes from varying publishers here in Australia. So we have a lot of digital games in our libraries. But we do have a lot of discs. Like, right now I'm playing Tony Hawk on a disc. I've got a collection of discs, and I want to be able to use them on my current console because I would like to retire the PS4, put it up on the shelf behind me, and make that change. I'm going to commit to one or the other, and I'm going to make that move over. So yeah, the price is irregardless to me, but we also have to consider the average consumer that isn't us.
I don't think $50 difference would be enough to get people to buy a digital console over unless you're one of those people who are all digital already.
Yeah.
I can't see anyone going $50 is enough of a savings for me to buy a non-disced console.
Yeah, but it's that difference, right? Like we if pre-orders for the disc version are all full, and it's only the digital version, you're like, oh. Yeah.
I'll probably get a digital version if that's the case.
Yeah.
Like if I can't get one, but the digital only is available, I will get digital. So, I must admit, the majority of my games are digital. But you look on the other side, a lot of the times you can go into a store and it is generally cheaper to buy a physical copy than what it is on our digital store, especially here in Australia.
Yeah, I'm just frozen for a sec.
Because
big time.
In Australia, we're lucky enough. A lot of our new release games come in at $79 because of the price competition that the companies have. But to buy that on the PlayStation Store, for example, that same game's $100.
Yeah. That's the other thing as well. Like, I say that, but I'm not someone that I don't trade my games. So I don't even know. Like, the big idea of a physical is that you can trade the games. I don't do it. I'm a big dork. I just keep them because
I do on
diminished value. Why?
I see. I do on occasion. Like I generally don't trade them in. I will generally sell them to a new party.
See, I don't tend to.
But even then, I don't do
games.
it that often. Like,
yeah.
it honestly depends on what the game is.
Well, yeah. So because I'm planning to sell my Xbox One S to sort of help pay off the PS5, I'm losing my 4K Blu-ray player. So for that reason, I'll need to go the disc version of the PS5.
Well, see, I'm selling my PS4 to get PS5. I'm just jumping ship. Granted, it's my PS5 is going to be retired to the bedroom for my wife to use.
I mean,
her PlayStation,
PS4,
and her PlayStation, my PS4, and her PlayStation is the one that's going to be sold because she's got one of the OG 500 gig ones. But yeah, I'm keeping my Xbox One S for that 4K Blu-rays.
In the chat, I'd love. From Smithy again. I'd love. Smiley, sorry. I'd love to be able to support digital and even EB, but when you can walk into Big W or JB and get it cheaper, it is the way. And that is a big point. And that's why do I keep freezing? And that is one of the big points here that needs to be taken into account. Like, for majority of people, that $20 or $30 that the difference in that physical version can make is a make or break. You know?
Well, see, I must admit, going off that reference, I still purchase my games from EB because they do price match, and they also have that 7-day money back guarantee of if you purchase something and you're not a fan of it, we will give you your money back.
Yeah. And so, like, for me, I go to EB because I have a mate there, and that's pretty much the only reason that I go. And and once again, we're in that privileged position that likely a code will come our way if we ask for it. So yeah, we aren't really the best example of those sort of consumers, but it's something.
Yeah.
Well, let us. Yeah, anyone that's watching at home, not live on Twitch, be sure to let us know in the comments below or on our social medias, Twitter, Discord, whatever, what your thoughts on the PS5 predictions or price or date or where you want to sit. We'd love to get a bit more information around that if you want to hand it over. Is there any more PS5 news in there?
Yes. So we also got some. We got told that upcoming PlayStation 4 boxes and box art will have a PS5 upgrade banner for compatible games. So similar to those new Xbox ones that have the it plays better on Series X or whatever it is. So we will The example they gave is the box for Immortal's Phoenix Rising, the upcoming Ubisoft title. The PS4 box does say PS5 upgrade available, and that game is also free on PS5 if you buy it on PS4. You will get upgraded for free. Sony also currently has an unnamed event planned for the 18th of September during PAX Online. Ooh. It is one of the only upcoming PAX events that doesn't have a title. It's simply called Sony Placeholder.
Yeah, it's called Sony Holder, which means it could be anything. Yeah. It could just be Sony releasing a new cup holder. It could be that new chip picker.
And we also got that the PlayStation 5 will ship with a display stand in Hong Kong at least. The item named Base has been listed alongside other contents that will be included in the console's box on a distributor's website.
Yeah, so they've essentially
made it wireless controller, USB, power cable, HDMI, and it says Base.
So they've set on the website they've shown what the contents of each box would be, and as you said, it's just the console, it's a controller, it's a HDMI 2.1, it's a power cord, like it's pretty much as standard shit as you'd expect. It's standard shit in the box, which is cool. But once again, it's showing that both boxes are similar and what's in them is similar as well, which is nice. So you're not getting like a lesser experience for getting one over the other.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the idea of them labeling the boxes appropriately for the games to be able to head into the next gen. Like, hey, these ones are on PS5 as well. This has got an upgrade. I think it's a good way to sort of help de-blur that line.
It's also really good for the people who aren't going to upgrade straight away.
Yeah,
that are going to upgrade in the future. The people that are like, I want to get a PS5. It's not financially viable for me now, but it's nice to know that these games that I buy on the PlayStation 4, I will get free versions on PS5 when I do eventually upgrade that.
Yeah, just a little bit of that removal of buyer's remorse, you know what I mean? Like, the last thing you want to do is buy a game and they're like, and then you have to buy it again. Like it's a Nintendo game.
I'm going to skip ahead in the news a little bit and talk about buyer's remorse with some more Control controversy.
Oh, yeah.
So we spoke about the last two, I think the last two episodes we've spoken about this. Basically, we discussed that you cannot upgrade your PS4 copy of Control for free to the PlayStation 5 version if you don't own the newly released Ultimate Edition.
Which is out now.
Earlier this week, however, owners of the Deluxe Edition have been upgraded to the Ultimate Edition for free. Later that day, they were then degraded back down as word started spreading. Basically, if you owned the Deluxe Edition and you went to the store page for the Ultimate Edition, you could download it and purchase it at no charge. This has since been fixed. So what this means is the developer and publisher do have the ability to upgrade certain versions of Control, but they claimed they didn't in a recent blog post. It was said, quote, "The upgrade path that we are offering is only possible when upgrading from the same version of the game, as we are only doing additional development on Control Ultimate Edition on the next-gen platforms. We are unfortunately unable to offer an upgrade path to all existing Control players," end quote, except that exact upgrade path has been offered on the PlayStation Store throughout the day by accident.
Fucking lies. Lies, Max. The lies.
So they got them. Yeah, it's rough. Like, if they can do it, why not do it?
Because they don't want to. Because they want you to pay $60 again. That's what it is right now. It's $59.99 on the PS Store. They want that $60 again. Because it is one of those weird lines. Now, this I'm still unsure whether this is a Remedy Direct or the distribution.
505.
Because the game, although having incredibly well critical reception, did have pretty poor sell through, right? Yeah. So maybe this is them trying to make some coin up, but even then, rather than just saying that, they're being skirty about it and trying to get around it. It is 100% dirty. It is so great. Even if they just said the Deluxe Edition, if they just put this behind the Deluxe Edition, that would be fine. Look, that I have less issue with. You own the Deluxe Edition. This is a deluxe extra that you get. You bought the standard. I'm sorry, you don't get it.
It's odd.
It is very, very odd, and I am not cool with it. Speaking of something that people may not be cool with, Max, Keena and the Bridge of Spirits. This was originally going to be one of the early launch titles for the PS5. It came out today that Ember Lab, which is the team behind the game, have tweeted that the Bridge of Spirits will miss its 2020 launch date. And it will be coming in Q1 2021. The studio attributes the need for more time to this year's, quote, many challenges, end quote, and the transition to home working. It's the same story we've heard many, many times with many other games throughout this year, but it is the right decision, says Ember Lab, because, quote, the game and the well-being of the team, end quote. Now, this is a game that did kind of catch my attention. It wasn't on my list of I can't wait. This is a must-play for me.
I thought it was kind of cool.
But it looked cool. And I do appreciate them coming out saying, hey, man, it's fucking hard. It's plus it's a smaller team game anyway, or at least it's perceived that way. It's not like Halo Infinite or anything. But, they're essentially saying, look, it's tough. We're going to have to delay the game. We're terribly sorry. But it may happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of games that might get delayed, Max, again.
No, it's not getting delayed.
No, it's not getting delayed. It's 100% getting delayed.
This week, CD Projekt Red has confirmed that the next Cyberpunk live stream will take place Friday, the 18th of September.
That's close.
This third episode of Night City Wire promises a tour of the city itself and a look at its many gangs.
Stop showing your shit and just fucking release the game.
Previous episodes have shown heaps of in-game footage, and this will most likely be well worth the watch. In other Cyberpunk news, as I pull it up because I forgot to add it in earlier, there's been some photos from the Cyberpunk 2077 Chinese localization recording sessions, the dubbing being in Mandarin Chinese. There is currently more than 150 voice actors with 100,000 lines of dialogue recording across 4 separate studios with 10,000 plus person hours. they've stated that the VA work is 15 to 20% more than Witcher 3, including all its DLCs.
Oh, see, this is the problem here, Max. It's another game trying to be so inclusive by bringing all these languages in, and it's coming at the cost of the game. No, look, that's amazing. I can't argue that at all. That's brilliant. Like, having more people that are able to play the game in their native tongue is fantastic. Like, it's a shame. There's 100 languages. I hope one of them's Australian. It's like English, but a bit worse. Like, that would be ideal. But I don't see.
You mean English, but a bit faster?
Yeah, Cyberpunk. They got to like reenact
Cyberpunk.
Fucking Stroth. But look, it is brilliant. I do joke saying that was part of the reason that they've been delayed, but the fact they're still doing it right now could also be the reason.
I think there was also news that they were awaiting their rating to come back, so it looks like it's pretty much done.
Yeah, well,
they're just doing the final touches,
because it comes out in 2 months, not even.
Yeah, I keep thinking it comes out in October, but it's like
it's November.
It's November after all the new consoles.
It's November. I want to say 16th.
It's the 17th. It's a week after.
Get it wrong
it's a week after the drop for Microsoft. So it's coming out on a Tuesday, which is again really bizarre.
Really bizarre. Reverend Puck in the chat goes, at this point, the graphical update to Witcher 3 will come out before Cyberpunk. It's very, very likely. And I think I honestly think the reason they did that is because they knew Cyberpunk's being delayed to 2024. So they're just like, we'll give you this now. Like, this will help you in the midterm. Here's free Witcher 3 for PS5 while you wait 9 more years for Cyberpunk 2077. And then they'll have about 14 other episodes of Night City Wire, and then they'll essentially have shown you the entire game, and then you play it, and then everyone's really disappointed.
They'll end it with lol jokes. It was actually a movie the whole time.
Yeah. We've showed you everything, and we just cut all these Night City Wires together, and you have the game. I don't know why I'm so poo-poo on Cyberpunk.
This is season 1 of Cyberpunk 2077.
I really don't know why I'm being so poo-poo on it, but I can't help it. Let's see. What do we got?
Let's talk some indies.
Yeah.
Let's talk some indies.
We'll give the indies a little bit of love. Annapurna Interactive. They've just announced the Annapurna Deluxe Limited Edition. It is a physical collection of 8 of the company's games from the PS4 in one box. The game includes the awesome Donut County, Gorgoa, Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition, The Outer Wilds, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Telling Lies, Wattam, and What Remains of Edith Finch. Also comes with a foreword from the publisher, founder, as well as statements from all of the game's lead creatives. This collection is region-free and is available to pre-order right now, but it's coming in at $199.99 US dollars, presumably being a limited run of only 2,000 units. There is additionally a second SKU called the Annapurna Interactive Ultimate PS4 Collection, available for pre-order also, but this is a less fancy pants version and is $20 cheaper. Those games are pretty mint. However, I wouldn't be paying $200 for him. Is the Fancy Pants box enough for you, Max?
The Fancy Pants box, I must admit, does look good, but I'm not enough of a fan of those games to spend $200 on them.
It is cool for those that want to support, Annapurna as a publishing arm. It's probably a really good idea because it's a bunch of cool indie games. Like, they are shorter experiences, but they are cool games nonetheless, and it is a great way, especially if you're a collector of titles, of like collecting Fancy Pants editions. But it's pretty sweet. All right, Max, that's in the indies. Let's talk about one of those big fuckers, and they are certainly a fucker right now. Ubisoft Forward. Ubisoft had their second Forward event over the week. Let's run through what was announced. We'll go one for one.
All right, we'll kick things off with Riders Republic. So when they first showed this, I thought it was Steep 2.
This essentially is Steep 2.
It's a massively multiplayer extreme sports sandbox game. You'll be able to ski, snowboard, and bike, and much more with friends and strangers. This game being set in a various of US country parks, all designed using real-world GPS data. They've stated that there will be real-world events inspired by the X Games in it. It's coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 on the 25th of February next year. Those who purchase the game on PlayStation 4 will be able to upgrade to the PS5 version for free. Quote, Riders Republic will run at 60 frames per second on next-gen consoles and display more than 50 players simultaneously live on the screen. With the game's very intuitive character and camera control combined with an innovative trick system, all players, casual and hardcore, will have the chance to experience untapped joy from the very beginning.
But yeah, no, like, it is almost as if that, like, whoever was the head behind Steep, they're like, oh, Steep flopped. All right, fuck it, let's do it again. Let's just do it again. Let's give it, like, you will love Steep, people. Everyone at home, you will love Steep if we have to fucking make you. And because this game feels like Steep and it looks exactly like Steep, except they have bikes now, this game will also have the exact same response as Steep, which is meh at best.
Yeah, didn't do much for me.
No. One thing that, like, okay, I'll get mixed emotions about this next game. Let's get into it. The Fresh Prince of Persia, says Max. Following the rumors and predictions from this team right here, earlier this week, Ubisoft confirmed that the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake is happening. It is coming to PS4 on the 21st of January, and it will work on the PS5 through its backwards compatibility. It has been developed by a new Ubisoft studio in India, but it looks like a low-budget project. From the screens that have been visible, the game doesn't look much better than it did when it was first released. And that is my point. The game looks good and shit at the same time, and it makes me uncomfortable. Because, like, at the beginning of the game, they show the original PS2 version in the hourglass. I'm like, oh, that looks worse than I remember. And then they show this, I'm like, oh, this looks better?
Well, did you see that if you pre-order the game, it comes with a bunch of content, and one of the content pieces that it comes with is what they're basically referring to as the old mode filter, where you can play it in its original form.
Okay. Well, I guess if anything, they prove that this is a remaster then.
Yeah.
It's not a remake. It's very the choice of words here is a little bit shit.
I actually think it might be remaster. I think I may.
No, it is called remake. It's 100% called remake. Because I watched the trailer because I went back over Ubisoft Forward before we came into today.
Okay, all right, cool.
But yeah, so it looks like PS3. Like, not a bad thing, but it looks like a late gen PS3 game, and it is better. It is prettier, but it looks kind of poo. And for a remake, there is the expectation that it should be better. Especially when it's a franchise like Prince of Persia, which people do enjoy and people are excited for the return of it. But this isn't it, I'm afraid. And knowing that there was like that HD remaster on the PS3, I think, was there, of the three of them?
Yeah, I think it was the trilogy. It had Warrior Within
and Two Princes.
Yeah,
you know, it looks as if they've just ported that
and just dropped two of the games.
Yeah, like we put, and like you can really tell that this isn't a priority for them. They've not put a lot of money into it, and it sucks. It really sucks for them, and for us, I guess. But oh well, sucks for them.
Next up, we have Immortals: Phoenix Rising. So, Gods and Monsters has been reborn as Immortals: Phoenix Rising, possibly one of the worst names in history.
I'll double down on last week. This name sucks.
This open world action game got a brand new trailer to show off some more of its environments and biomes, and featured lots of gameplay footage. This is being developed by the Assassin's Creed Odyssey team. Ubi said we would see a lot more of this game before its release on the 3rd of December. After they showed it off, the head of Stadia, who I can't think of his name for the life of me, came out and went, Stadia has an exclusive demo for this game, which I was a bit bummed about. But this game gives off the best way I can describe it is a Zelda Breath of the Wild feel, and I'm totally into that. No. Like, you can tackle this game however you want. You can go anywhere you want from the beginning. This game's as difficult as you make it. You're fighting gods and monsters. They showed off like Cyclopses and Hermes, and this is right up my alley. I'm super keen. I know you're not. I am super keen for this.
Yeah, look, I didn't enjoy Breath of the Wild, so
yeah, I know it's like one of the greatest games ever, and you're just like, no, it's garbage.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's garbage.
Thanks to Puck in the chat. I'm Phil Harrison. Is the name of the Stadia dude.
The game is fine.
Thank you, Puck.
The game's fine. That's probably.
I had Phil Spencer in my head, but that's Microsoft.
And I've argued about. I know I said this last week as well. It's bizarre how they've made the name more specific, yet also more generic in one go. I don't know. It's baffling.
I don't know if it was more specific. Like, Gods and Monsters made sense. You literally fought Gods and Monsters.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Immortals Phoenix Rising, it's specific because no one's ever used that name before. So it's very specific. But it's also one of the most generic fucking sounding games I've ever heard. Because it sounds like every other name, something. Like...
there's no colon. There's no colon.
That's worse. Because that doesn't make sense then. That makes even less sense.
Reverend Puck in the chat, to me, it looked like a family-friendly God of War.
Ew. No interest in this game at all. Next up, something that people wanted, I guess, and I guess Ubisoft needed to cover some of their problems. So they were like, oh, you guys want Scott Pilgrim? Here's Scott Pilgrim. The 2D beat-em-up has been delisted from digital stores on PS3 for a very long time. Once the licensing ran out, Ubisoft have announced that the title will be returning to celebrate its 10th anniversary. And it is coming to PS4 as the complete definitive edition. And it's coming later this year. I remember playing it on PS3 and loving the shit out of it. But I can't help but look at this as an attempt to not look like assholes.
Next up, we have some Watch Dogs Legion. Showed more gameplay. We got an in-game performance from Stormzy, the UK rapper.
Oh, okay.
We've also learnt that Aiden Pierce, the protagonist from the first few games, is also making a return. He will be added via a post-launch update for Season Pass owners, along with a completely new story arc.
Because you know what people love? The main character that everyone fucking hated in the first game. And it's one of the things, they're like, an old friend is coming back. It's Aiden Pierce. I'm like, he was never my fucking friend.
I had to Google who Stormzy was.
I don't know who Stormzy is. It's not my wheelhouse. Like, it makes sense, set in London, they got some London guy, but it's just like, Like, I don't know, like, I'm excited for Watch Dogs Legion, because it looks cool.
The game still looks pretty cool,
The game still looks rad. But, like, Aiden Pierce isn't a selling point.
It's also on my list, and I needed to do well.
You need, oh yeah, I should check how.
Can everyone please go out and buy Watch Dogs Legion?
You should check how Marvel's The Avengers is doing to see where I'm going. But yeah, it's a situation of like I can't see how that's a selling point. Whatever. Rainbow Six Siege. When the native PS5 version launches later this year, Ubisoft have confirmed it will support 4K resolutions at upwards of 120 frames per second, which is pretty awesome. Current PS4 owners will receive that free upgrade to the next-gen version with all progress and unlocks carrying forward. The latest season of Rainbow Six Siege is also live now. It's titled Operation Shadowed Legacy. As we do know that Sam Fisher has been added as a new operator and a few map reworks and other gameplay changes.
So that was it for the Ubisoft Forward event. That's where they cut ties. Mm-hmm. But we did get some more news about Skull and Bones. So although this wasn't shown at Ubisoft Forward, in a new statement released yesterday, as of time of recording, Ubisoft has provided an update on the Open Sea Pirate game. It starts on a positive note, confirming that production, quote, has been in full swing with a new vision, end quote, and the team is working on plans to present the game, quote, sometime in the future, which could mean anything. The post goes on to say that the reason the game has been pushed back so often is due to simply needing more time. The concept of the title evolved to an extent that meant more people needed to be brought on, and more time was required to see the game to fruition. The end of the statement suggests it'll be re-announced some point next year.
It's so frustrating because, like, normally I'm a big support. I've been a fan of Ubisoft games, but like, yeah. One thing that like has got me excited because like Skull and Bones just it seems dead in the water, pun intended. And I doubt that we'll ever see it. It's similar to that. There's another game from some guy that we'll never ever see. That was vague. But the other thing that I think was announced this week or maybe in the last week, the Division 2 is getting a raid. But not as in a raid. It's the raid where you have to climb 100 floors of a building. Yeah, so like you start at level 1 and then you die and you clear levels and you die and you go back and you start it again. And it's all about just getting harder and harder and harder until you get to the big boss at the top. I don't know about you. That sounds amazing. Yeah. It's a great movie concept. Put it in a game. I love it.
And the last piece of Ubisoft news is Ubisoft announced that Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be brought forward, releasing on the 10th of November on PlayStation 4 and Xbox consoles. Because once Microsoft announced that their console was coming out early, Ubisoft said, all right, well, you can play Valhalla on it straight away.
Well, if anything, that's awesome, because that one of the things that we sort of had hunkered down on like last week was all these games dropping on this week pretty much indicates that is the day. That is the week that it's coming. It's happening.
So Call of Duty hasn't changed as of yet. I think they're still 17th of
The
September,
big difference here is Assassin's
13th?
Creed has a marketing deal with Xbox, where Call of Duty has it with PlayStation. So, if anything, the date for Call of Duty, which is the 16th?
I think it's the 13th or the 17th. Or
yeah, I'm pretty confident that may become the date. Or the Call of Duty will move a couple of days around it. But yeah, I think using that same logic, there it is. I think that's what it is. Puck also adds, Ubisoft still haven't talked about Good and Evil in 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. They won't.
No, again, Dunsky's. It's Gonski. Whoever the guy that worked on Beyond Good and Evil, there was another game that they showed at a PlayStation thing years ago where you could sort of connect up to different fucking animals, and you could just like the guy has a name, but he has the history of just vaporware. Oh, what's his name? I know it's gone. I can't think of it.
Let's talk some quick bits, because that's it for the main news. So earlier this week, PlayStation celebrated its 25th anniversary of the release of the PlayStation 1 in the US.
We got a little bit of time before it hits here in Australia, because we did get a bit later.
Dreams is getting Dreams is getting spooky with an All Hallows Dreams event.
My kid is going to love it, because he still watches our Dreams Let's Play that you and I did, Max, X amount of months ago, years ago. He calls it spooky. He wants to watch the spooky because he likes when you and I played that spooky game where I got stuck in a cupboard.
Ninja Gaiden Sigma Trilogy has been listed for PlayStation 4 by a Hong Kong publisher.
Who, I guess.
Crash Bandicoot's old girlfriend Torna is a playable character in Crash 4.
Yes, that's the very tall Bandicoot from the first game, who kind of went missing, was replaced with Coco. Cool. Looks like she's had a style change since the 90s, which is nice.
For fans of Dynasty Warriors, over 700 Dynasty Warriors songs have been added to Spotify and other musical services.
Stupid amount of songs.
And Panzer Dragoon Remake will be heading to PS4, quote, soon.
Sure. All right, here are the top 10 best-selling PS4 games for the week ending the 6th of September 2020. They are as follows. Number 10, UFC 4. Number 9, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Number 8, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 7, The Ghost of Tsushima. Number 6, Madden 21. Number 5, 2K21. Number 4, FIFA 20. Number 3, Marvel's The Avengers. Number 2, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. And number 1, NBA 2K21. No surprises there at all.
Just for references, number 5 was PGA 2K21.
What I say?
Just 2K.
Oh yeah,
you just
sorry,
said 2K21. It is PGA.
Because in my head, I was trying to count how many 2K games were in the list, but the answer is
3, 4.
2.
Oh no, technically 2, but there's 4 sports games.
Yeah, so there's 4. So NBA 2K21 is in there. So PGA, it's another 2K title. EA coming through with 3 of the titles here with FIFA, Madden, and UFC. The Last of Us Part 2 has dropped out of the top 10. Ghost of Tsushima still hanging in there. And, of course, success for Tony Hawk and Avengers still selling well, which is brilliant. But yeah, understandably, NBA is one of the biggest franchises in video games. It is no surprise that it is once again coming through with the big win. And I guarantee we'll see that there for at least the next couple of weeks, if not months. Yeah. Because people get really stupid hard for the NBA games. I don't get it. I don't get it personally, but it's not for me.
I also don't understand it. But then again, it's also not for me.
Yeah, saying that though, but there are some games that are for you, Max. They would come out they would be coming out shortly in a section we call Inform the Play. We call Coming to the Players. We tell you about what games that are coming out this week. Now, Max, I guarantee you the drop isn't there.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up VG. I've learnt my lesson.
Let's check anyway. Let me check. All right.
You check while I work out what date it is today. We're still in September.
It is the current today of time of recording is the 12th. Apparently the latest game according to the PlayStation blog is still Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
So coming this week we have Spelunky 2.
Oh yeah.
Coming out September 15th on PS4. We have PES Ultimate Soccer coming September 15th.
Pro Evo Soccer, yeah.
We have Crisis Remastered September 18th, but I'm pretty sure that got delayed from memory.
Oh, okay. Well,
and we have a big one for Ryan, WWE 2K Battlegrounds, September 18th.
Yes! I know there's a lot of information that came out about it this week, which makes me super excited. Customizable characters. I can make myself in there. We can totally replace, because we've been using 2K20 as our predictor for pay-per-views when we do Young and the Wrestlers, our other show here on the Pop Culturist. I'm going to use this because it looks dumb and stupid. And I want to be like, and Roman Reigns wins by throwing Braun Strowman into a crocodile. And then they somehow have to deliver that in the pay-per-view. But, I'm excited, man. The game looks really cool. I've really swung around on it. I remember poo-pooing it at the start. But because it's been so long without it, I'm like...
You just want some silly fun. Sometimes you just want some silly fun.
And I know there are some people out there who have been receiving preview builds. One of them are our good friends over at player2.net.au. That's Paul, James, and the crew. So Matt Hewson, who's their editor-in-chief, he's been spending some time with it, thanks to 2K. We will be spending some time with it as well, hopefully in the coming days. I have been in talks with them for a review code once again, and thanks to them, we were able to meet Kofi Kingston last year. So they know about the Young and the Wrestlers. They know that I'm a massive wrestling dork. So I'm very excited, very, very excited to play that. I wanted to play this week, Max. I've put it out of the case. Is Red Dead 2? I want to finish it. I don't know why, but I'm feeling the urge. I haven't been able to actually put it in the PlayStation yet, but I need to finish it.
I still haven't finished it. I got to the point where I'm like, I can see where this is going, and because I have a really big issue with games that are prequel games, because I'm like, I know how this is going to end, so why am I spending my time doing it?
Yeah.
I'm so close to the end, I just can't bring myself to finish it.
Yeah, I got into, how many different chapters are there? There's 6, something like that?
Yeah.
I'm 3 or 4 chapters in, and I just I think it just got a little bit too long in the tooth for me at the time. So I wouldn't mind going back and finishing it up, and I don't know why, because it's not as if that I'm needing to get more credits or anything this year. It's just kind of caught I'm just wanting to return and see it through, because it's considered one of the best games ever. I'm like, yeah, probably finish it. And seeing I'm not finishing Ghost of Tsushima, so
I dove back into that for a bit. I can't remember where I'm up to though.
Yeah, I know.
I've kind of picked it up. I'm like, I've kind of forgotten how to play this.
Yeah, I'm going to uninstall it. I'm done. I'm not finishing it. I can't do it.
Fair enough.
Can't do
it. Well, I think that's everything. Unless you've got anything else that we need to.
Nah.
No. I'll bring it home then. This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations, please check out our socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, all the links in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist, where you can watch us record this show live. If you want to support the show, you can. You can tell your friends, you can tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you are listening to us on podcast services like Apple Podcasts, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. I believe Spotify does star ratings as well, so that'd be rad. And of course, if you're watching on the YouTubes, be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell, and leave a comment below. I will endeavor to answer every comment that I can. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopcultures, just like our newest Patreon did, Solomon Barak. Big thank you, Solomon, for becoming a Patreon producer. As I said, If I'm good at my job, his name plus all the other Patreon supporters that will appear in the credits after this. And if you want to, another way you can do is by buying our merchandise at popculture.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was For the Players. I got nothing funny to say today. For the Players, the Pop Culturist PlayStation podcast is fan-supported at patreon.com/thepopculturist. And we'd like to thank our Patreon producers and our Patreon founders for their kindness, their support, and their generosity. Our Patreon founders: Alpha Ferret, Craig O'Flaherty, David Chataway, Jesse Stevenson, and Jacob Garner. And our Patreon producers: Damien Holdies, Lee Wintershoven, Sean Levitt, and Solomon Barak.